I honestly did not think it would happen this soon, but here we are yet again in record territory for gold. But the real question is how long this will last. And what happens next is going to really tell us the tale as to whether or not we can see gold continue to climb from here. Let's talk about it as we explore. An amazing day indeed, as September the 2nd, 2025 is yet another record breaker in the books for gold. I say that because last year and earlier this year, it's hard to tell now, things are happening so fast, but gold reached right under $3,500 an ounce to raise to an all-time high. And get this, when adjusted for inflation. That's right, inflation is a big key here because this is amazing to see gold at this high. Many people feel that this is a situation where there's no stopping gold. But remember, folks, silver has a long way to go before it gets to an all-time high, even before inflation gets involved. So that's why I think we need to be very careful with how we approach our thoughts about where gold is going to go from here, which is why I'm going to tell you later in the video what to look out for to see how this is going to play out. And by the way, it's long after the Fed makes a decision. Before we get there, I want to remind you of channel sponsor Summit Metals. They do not pay me to try to push gold or silver on you to say that silver or gold's going to go to the moon. Indeed not. It is to be conscious of your budget and your situation, to not fall for the hype. From anybody, including this channel. I have been probably a little bit overly bullish as of late for both metals. So far, it's panning out to be true in terms of price predictions. In fact, I was 1 cent away from that with silver today, but we're going to talk about that in another video. But gold is the king today. It has performed very well. Moments before the markets close, gold is up 1.74%. But when you take into account what it has been doing over the past year, it really has exploded, and has exploded to way surpass the all-time high here at sitting at $3,536. In fact, it is $70 away from, or a $70 move today from its low to its high. The high for gold today was $3,540.80, breaking past that psychological $3,500 mark. And it's pretty remarkable to see that for sure. And the Kitco information, though, is quite not accurate in terms of the percentage move. So I'm not sure if it's over. It probably is over 2% move today for gold. And that would constitute in a one-day surge for sure and a soaring of the price. Silver has also dramatically moved up as well. It's 1 cent shy of $41. Platinum has also moved up. And rhodium is also skyrocketing today. But, hey, we'll cover that in another topic in another video. But this is fascinating to see what gold is doing. And it's all because of people being nervous about what the Fed is going to do and about the Trump's firing of the governor there, or the governor of one of the governor on the board of governors. But Reuters is reporting about the latest rally for gold, triggered by expectations of U.S. rate cuts, concerned about Federal Reserve's independence, and strong demand from investors, as well as the central bank is likely to propel prices to new records in the coming weeks. Analysts see spot gold, which hit a record high on Tuesday, and many people feel now that this is moving into a $3,600 to $3,900 range in the near to medium future, with potential to test $4,000 an ounce next year in 2026 if economic and geopolitical uncertainties persist. That is what is crucial, folks. Will they persist? Is what we're seeing now an overreaction? It very well could be, and likely it is. At least from my experience of the markets, this is par for the course. I think this stuff about the firing of the board of governor is just overreaction. Whether she stays or whether she goes is really immaterial. And the Fed's independence, well, it's always been in question by those of us that have been paying attention to politics, general politics, and monetary issues. It's never been independent. In fact, I would dare say it's never been independent from the day it was created. from the Federal Reserve Act before it was fully instituted. From December the 23rd, 1913, which was when the enact was put into place, folks, that date alone tells you exactly why it's been politicized, because they passed it on Christmas break, right before Christmas break when people weren't paying attention. That should tell you everything you need to know, dating back well over 100 years ago when it was done. But nonetheless, so that's what's happening here. Gold has gained more than 34% this year, and analysts have steadily raised their average 2025 price outlook from $27.56 an ounce in January to $3,065 an ounce in April, and most recently to $32.20 in July, according to Reuters polls. Jerome Powell, the Fed chair, has acknowledged rising employment risk has seen financial markets betting on a September interest rate cut. Supportive for gold is the bearish dollar outlook underpinned by expectations of Fed cuts, investors distancing from U.S. assets and tariff-related economic uncertainty, according to Ricardo Evangelista. And the dollar has fallen nearly 11% since Donald Trump returned to the White House in January. A softer dollar makes the greenback price gold less expensive for holders than other currencies. And by the way, I don't think Donald Trump has really been kept it a secret that he wants a weaker dollar compared to other currencies. It's a leveraging tool. He mentioned this during his first term. But what is the dollar doing right now? It is actually, wait for it, up. The dollar is actually up right now, slightly. It's a 98.33, but above 97. And albeit that still gold and silver are both up in spite of that. So crazy. All right. Meanwhile, Trump's criticism of Powell and attempts to remove Governor Lisa Cook have heightened concerns over the Fed's independence and sparked further gold purchases. But of course, I think that's an overreaction myself. And this is why, folks, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that this price movement, especially for gold, I think is based off of hype and emotion about the Fed. And it's market participants. It's not precious metal analysts that are involved in this. It's just the overall market sentiment. Emotions drive the market. And I've been saying that for years on this channel. And this is why I'm always encouraging folks, hey, this is not the time to buy gold. I think it'll probably pull back from here. And that's a controversial statement. I know many of you probably disagree with that. But I think that if we do see it climb, maybe in the next few days, I think probably likely we're going to see somewhat of a correction or a pullback. Maybe not by a whole lot. Gold is more resilient in that manner. But a dramatic increase like what we're seeing today usually is met with consolidation tomorrow, figuratively speaking, and maybe even as late as next week. But testing new highs is always an area where you want to be careful about making a purchase out of fear of gold. So this is one of the reasons why I'm always cautious and careful in these moments. Now, could it continue to climb? Of course it could. It's possible. So you have to weigh that decision for yourself as to whether or not you should buy. But continuing along with one of the things that we're looking at that could lead to gold's bullish case in general, the wild card is potential interference with the U.S. Federal Reserve and concerns about the dollar status as a safe haven, according to Julius Baer, analyst at Karsten Menke. Other factors fortifying gold's appeal are security concerns emanating from the Middle East and between Russia and Ukraine, and central bank demand, particularly from developing countries. That is what has bolstered gold's price since 2022. Central bank demand. It has more than doubled since then, by the way, and this is why any pullbacks probably will be muted somewhat. In other words, we could see probably, I think there's going to be a pullback, a correction, maybe the $3,400 range. You know, that critical area where it had lingered around the $3,333 range is something that we may revisit. I think that's a good support level. I know it's a strange number, but that's kind of where we have been seeing it for quite a while. So we'll see how that plays out. Now, it includes also China's central bank adding gold to its reserves for the 9th consecutive month in July. That's officially. How much gold is China adding unofficially? And that's also contributing is the speculation there. Now, the World Gold Council data show central banks plan to increase gold holdings as a share of their reserves while reducing dollar reserves over the next 5 years. The de-dollarization will continue. that means this is going to be weaker compared to other currencies. And even though we have a strengthening dollar today, slightly, likely, we're going to probably see it weakened over the course of time. Gold is king. It is the currency that transcends the space and time of the Federal Reserve System and the dollar's hegemony. And the combination of a rising gold price and central bank accumulation means that gold shares of reserves have risen steeply for some central banks, according to Michael Husseau, Deutsche Bank's precious metals analyst. Gold-backed ETFs have also seen significant inflows. SPDR Gold Trust, the world's largest physically backed ETF, said its holdings rose to 977.68 tons for a 12% increase so far this year and its highest since August of 2022. There you go, folks. There's a lot more of a bullish case for gold than not, but that also can lead to investors going in, seeing, buying out of fear. That's going to keep rising and keep rising and keep rising. But things that we saw like today, big spikes like this, typically do have correction points. And even though it may not go back to where it potentially was before, I think we're going to see somewhat of a correction here. Could be wrong. I'm not a professional, never pretended to be, but let me know what your thoughts are. What I do like to do on this channel is bring you the latest news analysis, and that includes some opinion, obviously, here on the platform. But I hope you enjoy what I do here. If so, I hope you will subscribe to the channel. Yes, indeed. And press the notifications bell so that you can be apprised of the latest video that makes its way across your device. So with that being said, I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch, and to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.